Are you a first-time homebuyer in the state of Minnesota, but you lack a down payment? If you qualify in every other way, Minnesota Housing Finance Agency offers you down payment assistance so that you can buy a home for as little as $1,000 cash out of pocket. Hey, when you think of it, that's less than coming up with your first month's rent and the damage deposit. They offer a few different programs. We're going to talk about the Deferred Payment Loan Plus program in today's video. It's 0% interest, 0 monthly payments. So it's a loan, it's not a grant, but you're only paying it off when you sell the house, you refinance it, or you vacate the house and rent it out. But in other circumstances, it's 0% interest, so it just sits there as long as you own the home. And when you combine that with maybe seller paid closing costs, even on a $350,000 home, you can buy that house for as little as $1,000 cash out of pocket, and you're not adding to your monthly payment as a result. The Deferred Payment Loan Plus goes up to $18,000 at 0% interest, 0 monthly payments, and goes a long way towards offsetting what you need to be able to buy a home. This program is designed only for first-time home buyers. Now, if you're not a first-time home buyer, I've got other videos about the monthly payment loan. I'll put links in the description below where you can actually buy a home with down payment assistance. But for this program, got to be a first-time home buyer. Hey, I'm Peter Lindquist. I've been a mortgage lender in the state of Minnesota for over 30 years. I'm going to share some of that experience with you today. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So the deferred payment loan refers to two different programs. There's the standard program, which goes up to $14,000 presently in 2026. And this changes from time to time and could change later this year. But currently $14,000. And the Deferred Payment Loan Plus is $18,000. There is a key difference in qualifying. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But between those two programs, the maximum income limits are the same. This is kind of one of the biggest sticking points for how you qualify. So for one or two people in the household, that's $85,000 presently. So if your income is more than that, might qualify for the monthly payment loan that I mentioned earlier. But your maximum income limit for this program is needs-based. And so if your income is too high, you're not qualifying for it. But people love this program because it doesn't add to their monthly payment. And the money that you borrow is just sitting there until you sell the house or maybe refinance it. Now, with the deferred payment loan, there is a relatively new feature that that is also stopping some buyers from qualifying, and that is a guideline in which the monthly payment on the new house, that is the payment including taxes and insurance, has to be more than 28% of your gross income. So let's say you're earning $84,000 a year. That's just under the $85,000 that is the maximum income limit for this program. That's $7,000 a month. 28% of that is $1,960. So the monthly payment on whatever home that you're buying would have to be more than that income. So payment's going to have to be $2,000 or more, generally speaking, in order to qualify to use the Deferred Payment Loan Plus. And that's actually the same rule on both the Deferred Payment Loan and the Deferred Payment Loan Plus. But what makes the difference with the Deferred Payment Loan Plus is that Minnesota Housing has set up 4 categories that you need to meet at least 2 of them in order to qualify for this program. And this is different than the deferred payment loan. So the first one is if you have at least 4 people in the household, then that is one of the 4. Now, if you have 4 people in the household, that also changes the maximum income limits to $106,000. But that is nevertheless one of the things. It doesn't mean you have to. If you meet 2 of the others, then you don't have to have 4 people in the household. But that's one of the 4 possibilities. The second one is if there is a person in the household who has a disability. So if anybody in your house has a disability, then that is also one of the 4 possibilities. The third one is if you're a first-generation home buyer. So this generally means if your parents never owned a home. This includes parents that are overseas. So if your parents are overseas, even they could not have owned a home when they were overseas. Okay, so first generation program requires an affidavit from you that says that you are a first generation home buyer, and if you are, that meets one of the four possibilities here. And then the fourth one is if you are a sole head of household with at least one dependent in the household. Now that is also one of the four. So if you meet at least two of those four and you qualify for all the other features of the deferred payment loan, then you should be eligible for the Deferred Payment Loan Plus, which is $18,000, just another $4,000 to help you reduce your monthly payment and reduce the amount of money you need to have available to go buy the home. So this is a great program for a first-time home buyer. One of the things that I'll mention to it is that if you're planning on buying a house, renting it out later, and going on to buy others, you know, a number of people are planning that these days in order to build their real estate wealth. Well, this program is maybe not designed for you because the moment that you move out of the home, you owe that $18,000 in a single lump sum. So you have to occupy this property as long as you have that deferred payment loan out there. The other thing I want to note about it is that when you are ready to refinance, so the first mortgages from Minnesota Housing tend to be a higher rate, usually about 1% higher than what is available on the open market. When you are ready to refinance your first mortgage, the only way you could get a rate on the open market is that you would have to pay off both the first mortgage and the Deferred Payment Loan Plus, which is 0% interest. So we calculate what your blended rate is, and that is you've got 0% on your $18,000 and you have 7% on your first mortgage. A rate of 6% on the open market isn't necessarily going to be good enough for you to justify refinancing that into one loan. We calculate that for you. It depends on each and every scenario. But for the right home buyer, this is a great program. In order to get this program, you have to be dealing with a lender who works with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. I do, and my company does. And there are a number of companies around the Twin Cities that do, but that not everybody does. Or even if they do, not everybody's familiar with it. And you really want to be working with lenders that know and understand this product in order to make it a smooth process for you. And if you got questions on it, feel free to reach out and put comments below. Thanks for taking the time to be with me today, and I'll see you next time.